Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F123 Driver Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we head to Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix here for an exciting efforts to maybe get back to the top step of the podium and get back-to-back Belgian Grand Prix victories. 2 seasons in a row. We start this episode actually though with a phone call with our agent.
Hey Gary, what's up?
Hey George, how's it going? I'll keep it simple. I want to see if you can get me in contact with some Formula 2 teams and see if we can maybe buy in and kind of do a co-owner kind of deal.
Okay, I can see what I can do. I'll keep you posted.
So you hear our call with our agent there, and we're looking to get into the ownership world, but not in Formula 1, in Formula 2. And we'll see if that's actually going to become, a realistic possibility or not. Nonetheless, we come here into the Belgian Grand Prix. We got 7 Grand Prix remaining on the season. It's not been an easy season, and we have been fortunately able to go back-to-back Grand Prix consecutive without too much issue. We've been able to finish them and have nothing go wrong, which is a big step in the right direction for this season. 1 win on the season, that was back in France, and we won France last season, we won it this season, so I'm hoping we can kind of repeat, and we won Belgium last season. I'm hoping we can win Belgium this season. One opportunity that we have today is it's supposed to rain in qualifying, so I think that's going to be a good opportunity for us here today to get a very competitive qualifying effort. Free practice 1, we were P11 on Friday afternoon. Jake doing their P10. I forgot to show it in the R&D. Connor Sport has brought more upgrades into this episode, so stay tuned, and I'm hearing they might be bringing more upgrades next episode going into Monza as well. Look at the weather. The rain absolutely chucking it down here in Belgium on Saturday as we get ready for qualifying. This would be canceled immediately in real life, but it's a video game. We can make it happen here now as we roll through into Q1. It's going to be a breeze getting through, and we, of course, are always very quick on a wet surface, and we would prove that. We would actually go immediately to the top of the board in Q1, while our teammate of Drogovic there in P7, the 2 McLarens just behind myself. Out was Sainz, Zhou, Lawson, Hughes, as well as Marcus Armstrong there. The Connor Sport cars comfortably in 11th and 12th. Like I said, they brought more upgrades today, or in this week, but they're still not close enough with the top 5 teams, but they're definitely breaking out from the bottom 4 teams behind them. So they're going to need to, make more continuous upgrades to get into a good spot where they can, actually be competitive against us. But we crossed the line here in Q2 again to the top of the board. Conditions were improving. We were now on intermediates. We were only out in front by a little over a tenth, but look at this. Aiden Jackson's out, and in is Jack Doohan in P8. What an effort right there from the rookie at Connor Sport, of course, replacing Devin Butler, who had a career-ending injury this season. We rolled through into Q3, and it was a unique scenario. So the track was drying as the rain had stopped, so everybody's crossing the line right now to make their attempts, but the track is actively getting drier as this lap goes on. We are the second to last car to go. Jack Doohan's the last car to go, but it's a Connor Sport. So I think we're going to really, in reality, probably cruise to a pole position here in Spa. And as we make this run down towards the final couple of corners here, through the penultimate turn, down into the final left-hander, down this run straightaway, get that power down slowly but surely to the line. It's going to be pole position in the Belgian Grand Prix.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And we got the pole by over a second. Jack Doohan being the last car out goes P7. He beats the 3 British drivers of Norris, Hamilton, as well as George Russell. What an effort there from Doohan, and what an effort from us to get it on pole as we are set to lead the field to the green, lights out on Sunday in Spa.
Welcome to this visit to the Ardennes countryside. Spa-Francorchamps hosted its first Grand Prix back in 1925, and this historic track is loved by drivers and fans alike, and us here in the commentary box too. So it's a warm welcome from the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track's a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Oscar Piastri, Drogovic, Verstappen, duel, Norris, Hamilton, Russell, Mayer, Ocon, Jackson, Tsunoda, Gasly, Sainz, Joe, Liam Lawson, Hughes, and Marcus Armstrong. And now it's time to head down to the track. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once more by Anthony Davidson. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
We are making a strategy change today. We're not starting on mediums. We are starting on softs and getting ready to roll from the front of the grid here alongside the Trackhouse machine.
And we're underway for the formation lap here at Spa. The cars begin their lap around the circuit that rises and falls through the hills of the Ardennes Forest. As always, the fans are here in their thousands and the atmosphere is incredible.
Everybody on softs except for 3 drivers, Hamilton, Zhou, as well as his teammate of Hughes.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
All right, Gary, we look strong this weekend. Show them what we can do.
Yeah, 10-4. Let's get it done today, guys. Ready to roll here from Belgium, and you got the Trackhouse machine of Leclerc rolling up to the back of the grid. Then you got Albon, followed by Leclerc's teammate of Oscar Piastri. Trackhouse still seeking their first win. Of course, Albon's won everything except for Lewis Hamilton picking up the win in Mexico, and for me picking up the win in France. It's been Alex Albon, you know, absolute dominance this season, and it could be that again today. Hopefully not. Let's see what we can do here. Now is this going to be 5 red lights, and most importantly here from Spa, lights out, and we're racing, and it's a horrendous start immediately from the Monaco-based driver of Leclerc. He's already dropped down to P5. His teammate of Piastri's gone around him, and he's gone past Alex Albon as well on the exit of turn 1. That's good for me to put a Trackhouse car between myself and the McLaren, because we know that McLaren is so strong. Switching to Toyota next season, it will be that McLaren-Toyota team. A very exciting, period of time it's going to be for that team in McLaren. And of course, we had the news last episode with the Williams, of course, going to be now in partner with Lamborghini. Lamborghini returning to Formula 1 after all these years. Jack Doohan right here on the run down towards the right-hander in front of the pair of Mercedes, who's been so strong. There's one of the BMWs in the background having a bit of trouble, and that allowed Aiden Jackson to go through. Aiden Jackson out in Q2. It was a horrendous qualifying effort for him. He's got to continue to try and work and move his way forward here. But those 2 Mercedes, they've been so strong this season. What a turnaround Mercedes has had, probably the biggest turnaround of anybody. Now that Conor Sport's turning things around, maybe they'll have the biggest rebound story of this season. But yeah, Mercedes not really feeling it today. But look at this, down the long back straightaway, Alex Albon powering through. He's gonna pass the Oscar Piastri here on the run down towards the final couple of corners. And as we came down the DRS straight here on lap number 2, no DRS of course enabled at this point, but it was becoming pretty evident that this was going to very quickly turn into a Owen versus Albon kind of fight. And Albon was putting the fight to me immediately here, looking up the inside at the tail end of Sector 2, maybe a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact right there. Now Albon and myself, we're going to scrap it out. We have had a couple of scraps in recent memory, thinking back to Circuit of the Americas last season when we had that last lap scrap, but we would stay ahead for now as we come through now to start lap 3. DRS enabled. Can we hold on down the DRS straight? Fortunately, this car really takes off on the exit of the slower speed corner, so the final turn 1 as well, and that would allow me to build up a nice comfortable gap to Albon on that run down towards the DRS up through Eau Rouge and Radian. So I was pretty comfortably ahead, I should say, going into the DRS zones. But Albon was certainly keeping me on my toes, keeping me looking in my rear view mirror. We were both driving away from the cars behind as now Aiden Jackson passing Jack Doohan. This is to put the rookie down into P10 if Jackson can complete the pass. Speaking of passes as well, my teammate of Felipe Drugovich was able to get past Oscar Piastri as the Trackhouse machine is fading. So Leclerc as well running down his teammate of Piastri. So 2 Red Bulls currently on the podium for, that might be the first time this season, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, that would happen if it does happen. We still got plenty of racing to go. I can't remember who joined us on the podium in France in this exact moment, but lap 6 at this point, and you can see a little bit wide there on the right-hander. Albon still right right there with us. We are continuing to drive away from the cars behind. However, now Drugovich 3 seconds back, 5 seconds to Piastri, 5.5 to Leclerc. But that gap just continues to get larger now. As you can see, the battles continue. Aiden Jackson absolutely flying right now. What could have been if he didn't miss Q3? Because he is moving right now through this field up into P8. Albon putting some pressure on us here on the exit of the right-hander. Now he's going to look side by side here on the run down towards that sweeping left-hander. Nearly contact there wheel to wheel. We've already had a bit of a moment with Albon, but we stay ahead. He backs out of it now. He wasn't quite brave enough to go for it, so we would remain in that first position here. As you can see, his DRS going to work. We're fortunately able to stay ahead for the time being now as we are approaching the pit window. So our pit window opens on lap 10, so we'll be boxing 1 lap from now as we come through down and towards that final braking zone. Albon just continuing to kind of lurk there, put some pressure on, but hold on, Albon's boxing. Albon's going to pit a lap earlier. That was an unexpected one, so that's going to obviously force our hand, although we were already planning to pit at the end of lap 10, so nothing is really in reality changing here. We're coming in at the end of lap 10, but we're definitely going to push a little bit harder on this 10th lap of this Grand Prix now, because my pace is so similar with Albon. If he gets out in front of us, will we be able to fight him? Now, right at the end of this lap, my ERS actually got locked, so I could not use my ERS, the overtake button from this point now until whenever they get it fixed. So we come into the box here, and we're going to get rid of these worn down softs and put on a brand new fresh set of medium compound tires. And now we're going to see what the damage is done here. Albon and McLaren, have they been able to outsmart this Red Bull Ford team? Albon's going past us now on the run towards turn 1. Keep in mind, we have a nice quicker exit right here, but Albon has to go a little bit further around the track, but it doesn't matter. He's still well out in front of us here. That's going to be, at least I would say, that's a good 2 seconds of an advantage that he is going to be out in front of us. Fortunately, our ERS overtake button is working again, but the gap, sure enough, was close to 2.5 seconds by the time these front medium compound tires were able to get warmed up and be able to get this car to turn in on the apexes. So we are going to have to run really hard from this point on, and we're going to go through the grid here with 10 laps to go already in the Belgian Grand Prix.
Another day, another Albon lead. However, it's shades of last season today in Spa, as Owen is on the chase, just 2 seconds back and starting to close in.
It's not been an easy season for Owen, but it seems like him and Red Bull are starting to get things together finally. And McLaren have got them today with the undercut. However, I think there's enough pace in the Red Bull that makes this race far from over.
And here comes Drugovich with a move on Max Verstappen, both seeking their first wins of this season, as Max surely isn't going to give up this position easily to the Brazilian.
Goodness, Max is really trying to keep this fight up, isn't he? However, Drugovich knows he's got more speed and he is not going to back down from this fight.
None of them are going to back down here. Still wheel to wheel, but as they head through the left-hander, Drugovich is finally going to get the job done and move into third. What a battle.
Now we can finally focus on the rest of the field. Mercedes struggling a bit today as Spa really has not suited the strengths of their car.
Hamilton struggling down in 10th.
And there you have, through the grid, you saw Calimere down there in P13, Sainz, Gasly, Lawson, Tsunoda, Zhou, Hughes, and Armstrong, by the way, totally forgot to mention, he had a mechanical failure in this Grand Prix, so Armstrong's day had come to an end in that Alfa Romeo Haas. But we focus back in on our efforts, and the gap is coming down. I mean, last time we were on board, it was 2.5 seconds. Now on lap 15, it's down to 1.8 seconds, so we are closing. But we're not closing quickly, obviously, so it's going to take a little bit of work here. And you can see the gap actually goes back up briefly to 2 seconds, but it's these corners right here, these low-speed corners, where my Red Bull Ford is just able to get off the corner so much better than that McLaren, and that's where the damage is being done to the gap to him. And you can see the gap back down to 1.8 seconds here at this point now, 1.7 seconds, so we're just ever so slightly reeling him in. If we can just get within that 1 second DRS threshold, I mean, it's going to be game on. And you can see now down to 1.5, maybe 1.4 seconds as we cross the stripe. Lap 17 at this point. We got it down to 1.3 with the assistance of getting off of turn 1 better than the McLaren. So it's game on here at this point in the Belgian Grand Prix as we continue to reel in Alex Albon. 1.2 seconds at this point. Not quite close enough yet for the DRS. 1.1 seconds as we approach lap 18. It's going to be 5 laps to go in the Belgian Grand Prix. Less than 1.1 seconds, but it wasn't close enough quite yet to get the DRS. We would be within briefly 1 second here at the end of sector 1. Obviously, not in a DRS situation right now until we get back around one more time to that front straightaway. So all about just keeping in that 1 second for the rest of this lap. Unfortunately, it was 1.1 seconds as I sail it off there into the braking zone, just trying to get a little bit closer coming to these final 4 laps of the Belgian Grand Prix. It's been a relatively calm race, but we've been around Albon all day long. We have driven away from the field, and now the DRS is here. 11 seconds to my teammate Felipe Drugovich, 15 to Verstappen, 16 seconds to Aiden Jackson, who's continuing to move forward here now, but we are going to put some pressure in these closing laps on Alex Albon now. He's been the dominant driver this season, and we want to put an end to that because, you know, if we can maybe keep him from winning, it could also make his driver confidence go down, and he'll be a little bit less OP. And here we go with 3 to go after the run through Eau Rouge and Radian with the DRS. We're right to the back of the McLaren. We'll swing to the left side, wheel to wheel into the braking zone. Who's going to be a little bit more aggressive? I think it's going to be us now. We continue wheel to wheel. Albon doesn't want to give it up quite yet now, but we go around the outside. We take the lead back here in the Belgian Grand Prix now, and we are going to try and run away because we know, especially that final lap, Albon is probably going to be absolutely flying compared to the pace that I'm going to be able to put up. So it's all about trying to get out in front and drive away. However, not happening. Albon fights back here a few moments later. Around the left side he goes. Nearly some contact there between myself and the McLaren again. Wheel to wheel through the end of the second sector. Absolutely great, fair, respectable racing here as we continue on. More wheel to wheel action here as we go through the right-hander. Very hard to go side by side, and I hit the curb and pushed wide. Albon banks out of it there. Thank goodness that didn't result in contact, but unfortunately, you know, I didn't give him enough room there to really be side by side after I hit that curb and kind of push wide. So we take the lead though, and now we try to run away with 2 laps to go here from Belgium. Can we pull it off? Now it's going to be very, very difficult now through the long sweeping left-hander, and you can see he's going to continue to put on some pressure here, as I think this is going to be a showdown that goes right to this final lap and final moments of this Belgian Grand Prix. We are in for an iconic finish potentially here. Final lap is underway in Spa. Albon has, 7 wins right now, I think it is, on the season, and we only have, we have 1 victory this season. It's not been an easy season for us here in Season 5 of this career mode. We are going to make life difficult if Albon actually wants to be able to take the victory from us here today as we go up through Radian now, and you can see Albon got a lot of speed in that McLaren, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We've used our enough battery here, yes, to stay ahead into the braking zone. That's one of the most vulnerable positions for us here on the circuit, is that run down towards that corner. So I think we're gonna be just fine, but hold on, we still gotta survive this, you know, final sector here coming up, and still sector 2 as Albon is right to our rear wing, but is not quite able to find an opportunity. Surprisingly, he didn't go for a move up the inside. Now the pressure is on. Can we withstand it now as he gets a little bit closer through the right-hander? Albon's been struggling through here a little bit today, and he kind of loses some ground there to us now, but it's gonna set him up for this one final lunge at us now as he's got the power down. He's in overtake, so are we. It's going to be a drag race here through towards the sweeping left-hander. Albon banks out of it. We get back ahead. Does he have anything for us? I don't think he does. We open up the gap on the run towards the final braking zone in Spa. What a race it has been. We go defensive, and we're going to come through to get win number 2 on the season as we exit the final turn. We win Spa for 2 years in a row.
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
We are back, boys. I said that in France, but I know we're back now. What a day. Awesome stuff. Awesome work.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they persevered to take the win here today.
What a day in Belgium now, and you know, we still have 6 Grand Prix remaining, and I mean, honestly, I mean, it feels like now, I mean, we're starting to hit our strides. That's 3 Grand Prix in a row without any issues. 2 of them were not on the podium. The only 2 podiums we have this season are victories, and as well, we have our teammate of Felipe Drugovich there on the podium, both Red Bulls today, which is great to see. Aiden Jackson rebounded to 4th. He definitely would have been on the podium over Drugovich if he didn't have a poor qualifying effort, that's for sure. And honestly, I think he had the pace to beat all of us here. He just seemed to be on it here today. But, we're able to pull it off. We'll take the victory, win number 2 of the season. We can go win 6 more. I feel like we could honestly end the season with 8 Grand Prix wins after a race like this, but obviously it's going to be nearly impossible to actually pull that off. But I am hopeful, and even if we were to win, 7 consecutive wins, I still don't think we're going to win the championship. So I've definitely written off a title, but we're going to give it absolutely everything we have. I'm still aiming for 2nd in the World Drivers' Championship. It's going to be difficult, but yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see as well. There's so many questions going into Season 6 with driver changes potentially, as well as is there going to be regulation changes, things like that. But we're P6 in the standings, 134 back, but we're only about 50 back out of Aiden Jackson, so very, very doable to get to 2nd in the standings. And the Constructors, now very doable to get to 2nd there too. Getting to McLaren, however, a total different story. That'll wrap it up for me. I'll see you guys next episode in Monza. Have a great day.